So here we are for another My Team episode, and this one is a big one. It's our first race with the latest patch, and this in theory is going to fix the AI difficulty. Now first of all, I apologise for my voice. I am kind of ill right now, but I want to push through and get this done because it's a big moment and a patch we've been waiting for a long time. Also, if you haven't seen the previous episode, go check it out. Spoilers are ahead, so go watch it now. But yeah, we're going to jump into it. So practice, you saw in the background, we did that on 96 AI, and that was our old difficulty, and we finished in P4 in FP2 with the medium tires, which indicates that the patch is working. So with that in mind, I ran some calculations and some numbers, because even though practice was in the dry, we have rain forecast for qualifying, as you'll see in a moment. In the meantime, you can see in the background we had a bunch of upgrades, get discounts, and you can see right here it's not just rain, it's pouring rain, full wets the entirety of qualifying. So trying to predict difficulty is not going to be that easy. Now as for the weekend, you can see we have no upgrades on the car. AlphaTauri, who are bottom, bring a pretty big package along with Ferrari as well. So the worst and the best team moving forward here this weekend. And you can see we have two upgrades of our own. If they both arrive, we should overtake Alfa Romeo. But now, this is what I went for qualifying. 105. I ran some numbers, I'm thinking 96 to 105 should be about 9/10 difference. Maybe a full second faster for the AI. And then factor in, their kind of turn up in pace in qualifying when they kind of find half a second. I'm estimating about 1.5 seconds in my head. So we'll see how that works out as we jump into Q1. Now the strategy for this qualifying session is going to be doing lots of laps. We've got the car fueled up for a couple of runs. We don't have endless amounts of tyres, only 2 sets of full wets for the entirety of qualifying. Another thing I want to talk about is FPS. Now you can see we've got a bit of an FPS drop here through this hairpin, and I think I may have improved it or fixed it possibly for this episode. So we'll see how the rest of the footage looks, and also once I upload it to YouTube as well, I'll see how it turns out. But we had a few moments with FPS issues, but I think for the most part it has improved. But you guys will have to tell me in the comments down below if it's any better. Now, you may have noticed before, we actually ran wide at the hairpin on purpose to let Carlos Sainz go by. Reason for that is because Carlos was on an out lap, and then he would have been on a push lap, and he would have been right behind us, which would have been extremely annoying. So I actually chose to let him go. As you can see, he actually goes fastest, so a good thing that we did let him go. We then went for a second push, and we got past the T-feet, and eventually we slotted in P15. I then went down for a cool-off lap, so I had loads of fuel left, but I wanted to recharge the battery. And we're now going to go for 2 back-to-back push laps once again. Making our way through the final chicane, you can see here we're 3/10 up with a purple first sector, running up to the line, and we say 21.4 and move into P10 on 105 AI, which is very encouraging. So very decent stuff. We kept on pushing though, we weren't done there. We go purple in the first sector again, up by a 10th in sector 2, and now making our way into sector 3. We actually do a nice job there through the hairpin to pick up the apex and get the traction, and now driving down the back straight, nearly 2/10 up as we make our way into the final chicane. Spot braking at the 100, down to 5th, turn in, aggressive over the curbs and on the exit, and we absolutely nail the final chicane, and we find 3/10 as we set a 21.0 and move into the top 3 at that time. We ran out of fuel, so I went back to the pit lane, and you can see here with a couple of minutes left, we are still P3 with the purple sector 1 to our name. However, the grid is extremely close. The top 10 covered by 3/10, and you can see Paul Chair is only 8/10 off in P16. However, we didn't go back out. I had to save a set of tyres, and I took a gamble, and it paid off. And we're into Q2 in P9, eventually half a second off the pace, and about 2.5 tenths quicker than our teammate. So happy days all round. You can see here we're going to use our second set and our final set of fresh full wet tyres for Q2, because we have a chance of maybe getting into Q3. So I fully intend on taking it and giving it everything we got. So here we are, end of our first push lap, 21.0 by the way, very strong banker if you consider what our personal best was in Q1. And again, we've fueled for multiple laps, so we're going to go for a second push. You can see here we're going to gain a bunch of time through turn 3 and turn 4, especially on the exit, and we're almost a 10th up already, so we're funding that pace. By the end of the lap, 4 tenths up, purple in sector 1, yet again we nail the chicane, and look at this, it's going to be a half a second improvement on our second lap. A 1 minute 20.5 brings us up to P4, and we are in the mix this session. We went for a cool-off lap and then another push, same plan as the first stint, in Q1, where we went for 2 push laps, a cool down, and then another 2 push. You can see here we're a 10th and a half, 2 tenths up to the line we go, and it's second place for us with a 120.3, and we're just constantly finding time here by running 50 on the off diff and also running none on the ERS in certain traction zones, as that seems to find a lot of time around here. Now this, I'm noticing now, is quite a bad FPS drop, and I'm trying to figure out what is happening. Nonetheless, we're a 10th up in the first sector alone as we go purple again, nearly 3 tenths up on Charles Leclerc. I don't know guys, we're flying. The car is working, the wet conditions are perfect for us. The car feels great. Through the right left chicane, we absolutely nail it. We find a load more time, and we're 2 tenths up at the end of sector 2. It's not quite purple, but we're still a 10th and a half up on Leclerc in the middle sector. The last one is our weakest one, so we'll have to try and make up for it. I think I'm running pretty high downforce, and the AI are pretty slippery on the straight. Nonetheless, we're up by a 10th and a half. We didn't quite do a good job with the hairpin. We lost a bit of time, but still into the final chicane. We're going to commit. We turned it a bit late though, and just get some understeer, and I didn't really commit enough on the front end, and we end up only improving by a margin of about 4/100ths. But what a lap. Another 1 minute 20.3, and we went back to the pit lane. You can see we're safe by 7, pretty much 8 tenths of a second over Ricardo, so we're chilling right now. We don't have another set of wets to go for, so that's why I kind of just went for a multi-lap run. And surprise, surprise, we are in Q3 for the first time ever. And you could argue on merit, because Pierre Gasly, P8 in the AlphaTauri, in what is the worst car on the grid, turns up as well and gets himself into Q3. So big surprises in this session, and myself and Pierre getting our cars into Q3 respectively. Now, as you can see, we're on the intermediates. The conditions haven't changed. I ran out of wets, and I wanted to try my luck on the inters, and just to see, where the track really was. The first lap though was 1.5 seconds off Alonso in P6, 121.6, 1.3 slower than what we've done in Q2. So the inters don't feel horrible, but they're not quite working like the full wets were.
Okay, so heavy rainfall here to stay for a while. Doesn't look like it's moving on anytime soon. Inters look like the best tyre for now.
Now there's the weather update, and you can see on our second lap we're only improving by about a 10th. We stay P10, and last I then went for another push just to try and find some more lap time, and you can see now through the hairpin we nail the traction, and we're 3 tenths up now, so this is a bit more of an eyebrow raising improvement. However, time is running out, and I'm debating.
Currently the fastest lap is at 1 minute 19.7.
Do we stay out or do we pit? And I actually chose to pit, even though we were probably going to improve by about half a second. It's not going to be enough of an improvement, so I went back to the pits. I put on the set of wets that we used in Q1, which had about 8 to 10% wear, and straight away the tyres were working. It's full wets. 1.2 seconds up as we make our way into the final 30 seconds. I've timed it so that we get 2 laps on this tyre. So our first banker is going to go in with a 1.3, 1.4 second improvement, and now we're going to go for our final attempt in qualifying. A 1 minute 20.2 is our personal best. Let's try and get to the 119s, as the AI also improving every single lap. So We find the 10th straight away as Perez dips into the mid-19s. Checkered flag drops as we find 2/10 in the first sector alone, and we go purple. Now though, into the left, right, trying to make sure we be patient on the throttle. A bit of oversteer, but we're still 3/10 to the good on this lap. We now head into the right left, brake at the shadow, down to 5th, over the curbs, patience on the throttle. Nicely done through there, and we're still 3/10 up at the second sector split. Spot the braking at 100, down to 3rd, get the nose in, and then try to stay tight, and then be very patient on the throttle on the exit. You can see here we find a bit more time as we're 3.5 up as we head down the back straight. Currently, you can see Gasly P6 with the 120.0. We're on course to beat that right now as we make our way into the final chicane. Try to commit. Not the best as we lose a bit on the exit, and you can see my reaction there. We've dropped a bit of time across the line though, and it's job done for us. We put up our fist in delight, and it's going to be P6. Very, very good result, and you can see I'm very happy with that. Not just our first Q3, but P6. What a result. 3rd row of the grid, 2.5 off pole. And I do believe there was a bit more time in that. I do believe P4 was possible. We lost all of it in the final chicane pretty much. So, yeah, shout out to Pierre Gasly as well, by the way. In the worst car on the grid, getting into P7. Me and him putting in an absolute shift in qualifying. And there's a lot. So Red Bull also, by the way, lock out the front row. They've not been anywhere this season or last season, but they've turned up this weekend and they're looking good. So for the race, we're going to bump it up to 108. I was debating going for 110, but because it was a wet qualifying, I don't really know where I stand, especially because, in practice, we done it on 96. There was a massive difference in, AI difficulty. So I don't really know where I stand on this. So for this first race with the new patch, I'm going to go on the safer side and go 108, as I'm expecting to go back anyway. Either way, it's going to be a fun race, and I can't wait. So let's get into it.
It's time once again then to go racing here in Montreal, the second largest French-speaking city in the world, and home since 1978 to the Canadian Grand Prix. We'll be seeing top speeds of around 210 miles per hour here at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve, with around 2/3 of the lap taken at full throttle. High-speed chicanes spell potential danger, especially at the infamous Wall of Champions, and watch out for overtaking into the hairpin and that final chicane. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, edging out Sergio Perez, who lines up P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Leclerc, Esteban Ocon, Martinez, Gasly, Sainz, Fernando Alonso, and Guan Yu Zhou, Russell, Tsunoda, Mick Schumacher, and Albon, Latifi, Ricciardo, Sebastian Vettel, and Théo Pourchaire, Aitken, Magnussen, Norris, and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Now, I'm not going to lie, my voice is a little bit all over the place. I'm kind of half ill at the moment, so I apologise. I'm going to try to not raise my voice too much as I've got a bit of a sore throat, but we're starting from P6, and this is the highest we've started in this entire career mode so far. We've done 30 episodes, and it's taken us that long just to start inside the top 10 on merit. So, let's talk about the race. I'm expecting to go backwards, I'm not going to lie, but I think we can still get points. Now, the objective of the 1.08 patch was to rebalance the AI and make them more, inverted commas, balanced across, all sessions. So in theory, I think I should have maybe gone with like 106, the same as qualifying, because that's how it should work. I shouldn't have to go higher for the race. But then again, I shouldn't really be qualifying as high as P6 most times. And also, I'm not sure what to expect with this patch as of yet. So I could have also gone 110, but I feel like that would have been a bit too much of a risk in this first race with the new patch, and also such limited running in the dry conditions. So that aside, we're going to start on the medium tyre and then move to the hard tyre. I think that's going to be the option and the strategy. The plan B would be possibly a medium soft. We'll see how the race goes. Fuel-wise, I'm going to drop it to about a lap extra. That shouldn't be a concern. Overcast conditions all the way through, and it should be a pretty straightforward race in my opinion. So let's get into it. Leave a like if you're going to enjoy. Let's try and smash over 1,000 likes with the new patch, and let's get into it. Okay, let's line her up on the grid and let's try and get a decent start once again. Gonna go for some rear tyre burnouts just to really lock in that rear tyre temp. A little bit of last minute lock to lock as we try to get those rears fired up. And let's see what happens then. It should be fun. Like I said, I'm expecting to go backwards. Even still though, it should be a good race.
Okay, so that's the rest of the grid forming up now. Be patient and watch for those lights.
Let's try and get to the points. We missed out in Baku, P11. Let's try and get back in the top 10 this weekend and try and get that momentum going. Right, let's get into it. 9,000 RPM. It's a very quick 5 lights, but we're underway. Good start. We get the jump on Ocon. We've got Gasly on our inside. As we go into turn 1, Ocon actually ends up dive bombing Leclerc for P5 and P4 respectively. Let's see if we can stay in front of Gasly for now, which we do manage to achieve. As we head into the chicane, Ocon and Leclerc are still going side by side, losing a bunch of time here. Gasly having a look up the inside. We're going to have to lose some space. Still side by side, Leclerc gets out of shape. We have to get off the throttle to avoid losing our front wing. Looks like we're pretty slow on the straight, even after the patch, so we're just running very high wings, but we stay ahead of Gasly for now. And that will just take the pressure off a little bit as Sainz is going to join him for company. Ocon though, up to P4. Excellent start from the Frenchman in the Alpine. So then, it looks like that would explain why we're so strong in Sector 1 in the rain. We've got very high aero, so a lot of downfalls, but we're going to be on the back foot on the straights, so it should be an interesting dynamic. Either way, we've managed to hold on to P6 at the end of this first lap. I'm going to need a couple of laps here just to really get up to speed and get used to the dry conditions again, but hopefully around lap 3 we should be okay once DRS gets enabled. I do wonder if Leclerc maybe has some slight front wing damage because he's not able to keep up with Ocon, who's pulling away. Also, Gasly running at a very impressive pace considering the AlphaTauri I think is the worst car on the grid, so a very strange one. The Ferrari the fastest car, yet Leclerc and Sainz are struggling, and me and Gasly in the slower cars are thriving, and so is Ocon.
DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Paul Chair pits for damage, not ideal.
Teo's coming in for his stop now.
Either way, it's still a 2-stop race, so you won't lose too much, hopefully. In the meantime, just trying to stay within DRS range. We've got a yellow flag on the back straight. Slow car. I'm not sure if it's a spin or an actual retirement by one of the Alfa Romeos. Either way, we've now got DRS on Leclerc, who has DRS on Ocon. That's going to help us hopefully keep some battery back. But the race is starting to spread out. You can see Ocon's faster than us as he's pulling away. I was hoping to kind of match up a bit better. And that Alfa Romeo has come into the pit lane, so it's not going to be a retirement or a safety car or anything like that. So let's keep doing our thing. Just brush the wall there.
Okay, no issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them.
The AI are starting to push. I'm having to use battery to keep up. So I think we've got the difficulty about right. I probably could have done 110 to be fair, and then I would have started to really drop back. I'm looking at Gasly as the reference, and we're, I'd say, just a fraction quicker than him, so I think we've got the difficulty about right. Warning number 1. Taking a bit too much inside curve there through the final chicane. That is one thing we have to be careful with this race, is going to be track limits and getting a penalty. At the moment, we're doing okay. The race has settled down, we've got decent pace. Leclerc must have damage, and maybe possibly Sainz as well, because the Ferraris can't make any progress. Leclerc having a bit of a moment there through the final chicane. If you remember last season, we had that spectacular crash where, you know, Lance Stroll just got airborne after losing the car through the final chicane. So I wouldn't rule it out. The AR seem to be prone to making errors through there. As they put the throttle on through the chicane, they seem to struggle with the back end. I feel good though right now. I'm feeling comfortable. I wonder if Ocon has burned up his battery a bit. We're starting to get some recharge. I'm only using the battery in the back straight, so at the moment, I feel like we've got much better tyre wear and performance than everybody else. We're able to hold onto our tyres. We're not overheating, so things are looking very decent at this stage. We've got movement ahead. One of the Red Bulls is in the pits. Let's see who it is. Sergio Perez. He was on the soft, so he started quite aggressive. In the meantime, I've got some decent recharge. I'm planning for an overcut. I feel like, we know the story with the AI. We can't overcut on cold tyres. The AI are much quicker, so the only option is that we overcut, get a track position, and then make them overtake us. But by that stage, hopefully our tyres should be up to temperature. So I'm just getting a full recharge on the go and getting ready for the overcut. I'm trying to save tyres. I feel like I can get Ocon and Leclerc, and because Perez went for the soft tyre and he's now rejoining traffic, there's a podium up for grabs here. I really believe it. Car feels great, and the patch has definitely fixed the AI. Much more raceable now. Yellow flag. This is definitely going to solidify a podium. Oh my god, it's Verstappen backwards. Oh my god. The one race where Red Bull had two cars in the top three, and we've got a safety car. I don't have enough time. I'm going to pit. I'm just going to commit. I don't really have enough time to... Oh my god, I've sped. Oh my god. I was going to say, I didn't have enough time to really think what to do strategy-wise. Oh no. Let's just serve the pit stop. Let me go, let me go. Okay, so we're behind Leclerc and Ocon. Hard tyre on. Ugh.
Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
Right, now ideally, if we can get these to the end, that would be the perfect strategy. We're going to have to work around the 5 second. We'll see what happens. I really don't know how this is going to go.
Okay, Teo's in the pits. Teo in the pits.
I mean, the best thing is that we've served our stop already, so it looks like a good chunk of cars haven't stopped. Just a shame. I was getting that battery recharge, to go for that aggressive overcut, and it was going to be a really good option for us, but we've lost that now. Poor Chair will get a chance to get back into the race with, him stopping. Let's see if any other cars stop this lap. If not, then we're going to be P9 with a 5 second penalty to our name. So everyone is staying out, and that would mean P9 for us. A bunch of cars have to stop, so technically we are net I want to say P4. Perez will have to stop again. There's no way he's taking those mediums to the end. Of course, Verstappen spun, so it would mean Hamilton is the net race leader, Ocon P2, Leclerc P3, and we are P4 with a 5 second time penalty to be added at the end of the race. Verstappen has recovered. He's behind us on mediums in P11. I don't think he's stopped, or if he has, then he's got another set of mediums he's put on. Either way, I've got to plan out the race now. I think the blessing in disguise, what would be perfect for us, is if Leclerc, Ocon, Hamilton, and everybody else that pit with us, Zhou as well, if they all have to pit one more time, that might give us the gap to get a 5 second, and then we can just try and stay out and go to the end and see if we get lucky. Another option is we have fresh soft tyres, so if something happens later on, we get a VSC or something, if I can serve it in the pit stop, then I'll see what I can do. Either way, we're planning to go to the end and hope for the best.
Safety car in this lap. Safety car in this lap. Let's make sure those tyres are up to temperature. And remember, there's no overtaking until the timing line. Stay in position until the green flags.
Well, I wasn't expecting that. I thought we'd go for one more lap as Paul Chaz hasn't really caught up. Anyway, let's get back underway. I'm not going to try and pass the AI. They're going to be in full power mode.
Okay, clear.
We're going to have, of course, slower cars and old tyres, so we've got to be smart here. But I do think we have pace. The first stint proved it. I've just got to be smart with my overtakes because we're down quite a lot on straight line speed. Oh my god, Aitken caught us in trouble, and we're going to squeeze through. I'm taking that opportunity. I do not give a crap. We're going straight through. My god. Oh my god. What the hell? It's happened again. Stroll crashes at the Wall of Champions.
Okay, watch your pace. We've been informed the safety car is out.
Wow.
There's been an issue with multiple stock vehicles on the track.
Wow, wow, wow. Another safety car for the second year in a row. Lance Stroll stacks it at the Wall of Champions. Right. Ocon doesn't have a front wing as well. What a crazy lap and a half. My goodness me. So we're still going to the end. It doesn't change anything for us. But we've overtaken Ocon and Leclerc. So we're net P2 now. I can't pit and serve my penalty. I don't think you can take a 5-second under safety car. So if we could somehow latch onto Hamilton and just have him drag us all the way, that would be insane. I'm expecting possibly the cars haven't stopped yet to box us out for the hard tyre and get their pit stop out of the way. So that should promote us to P2 if we're lucky. Here we go. Looks like some cars are in. Or just the one. No, Hamilton's in. Hamilton's in the pit lane. Gasly as well. So Gasly didn't pit. So that means we are the net race leader. I mean, we have Leclerc behind and Verstappen as well. But we are the net race leaders here in Canada on 108 difficulty. What the hell is happening? Could we win this race? Oh my god. The penalty now might actually be a massive problem. Because there's no way we're going to pull away 5 seconds from Charles Leclerc, that's for sure. So we might be able to keep him behind, but I don't think I'm going to get the 5-second gap. Either way, surely a podium, right? We've got to fancy ourselves for a podium. Here we go again. Just like a couple laps ago, back underway. Perez is P1. He has stopped, of course, so he's got fresher tyres than everybody else in terms of Norris and Fernando. So Checo might still have a chance here. He's going to have to stop again, but, you know, he's in the Red Bull, so he's going to have good pace. Back on the way, though. Let's see how this goes. This could be one for the history books. Don't click off the video now, folks. Leave a like if you're enjoying, and subscribe for more, as we will try to get a podium this race, possibly a race win.
Okay, some information on Norris. They seem to have an issue.
Well then, it's literally Christmas time for us. Let's try and get Lando as soon as possible and waste no time. Important that we don't let Checo build up too much of a gap. Otherwise he could become a problem for us later on. We're going to drain our battery here to have a look at Lando. Maybe not quite enough straight line speed. Going to back off early as Lando actually pits along with Fernando. So there we go, straight up to P2 for us. Leclerc on the hunt. This race is going to really open up now because I think, you know, Tsunoda may not be able to keep up. Seb Vettel as well. A lot of cars have pitted. Verstappen also pit that lap as well. So I don't know anymore what the strategies are or what's happening. I've lost full track of this race. All I know is that we are net P2. Possibly net P1 because Perez has to stop. So it's me versus Leclerc for the win. And I've got a 5-second penalty. So we need to start clearing cars behind and build up that gap. Hamilton battling with Vettel for P5. Tsunoda's keeping up, by the way. We're not really dropping him. So the AlphaTauri's pace is legit this weekend in both cars. We saw it with Tsunoda in qualifying, I believe, when he got that P5 as we got our second warning for track limits. Gotta be careful now. I don't want a 3-second on top of the 5. That's going to really potentially ruin our race. So just trying to use up the rest of the battery. We're closing up to Checo here as well. When we have no battery left, then that's when Leclerc will catch up and pass us, and then we'll see if he can drag us along. Although I'm not too confident because Tsunoda's pace is very strong. Luckily, Vettel battling with Hamilton has opened up a gap. So right now, if Checo were to pit, we'd finish P3 this race, as we have a 5-second gap to Seb. We're dropping Leclerc. This might be it. I can't believe I'm saying that. We're dropping the fastest car on the grid. But we're closing in on Checo. I'd like to get some DRS on him. That would really help me just open up a gap. I think we can win this on raw pace alone. Battery is going to be an issue, but I know where I'm strong. The final chicane is one of my stronger parts of the race circuit. We're very decent on the traction as well because of the higher downfalls. So let's see. This could be very spicy. And Checo should be in soon. Mediums only go about 15 laps to push. So yeah. Looks like he's set up for one more, but we will get a chance to get DRS. Right, we've got DRS on Checo. Excellent first sector. Now I'm just going to sit behind him until he pits. I'm going to try and recharge a bit. I can win this race on merit. We can win this. I think I can. And Checo pits. Unfortunately, I was hoping for him to stay out. We brushed the wall there.
Tyre tyre condition still looking good.
Luckily no damage. Right, so let's see how things shake out. Sebastian Vettel's pit. Hamilton now clean air P4. 7 seconds. He's going to drag everyone else with him, so it's important that we keep the pace up as we almost cut that chicane. Been close a few times. Pace is decent though, even without using too much battery. I'm going to see if I can try and recharge only by using it on the back straight. At the moment, in battery recharge mode, we're equal pace with Charles. So we pull away in the first sector, he gains through the second and the third. So we're about the same, although on this lap I'm just starting to edge away a little bit. I still wonder if Leclerc has damage, you know, because he should be faster than that. I mean, last season he was really quick. So I don't know why he's struggling, but we're pulling away on this lap more than other laps for some reason. Either way, gapping up to 3 seconds, and we are getting some recharge. Battery up to 50%. Hamilton is joining in, by the way, gap down to 5.2, so Lewis is the fastest car on track. But Lewis will start battling Tsunoda soon, and that could be a key factor in the final 10 laps. I don't know if we're going to have enough pace to clear Leclerc. I'm going to try and get my recharge up to 100% and then give it everything for like 2 or 3 laps and see how much I can get the gap up by. But even still, I want to try and get close. I know that AI are going to go full power in the last 2 laps, lap and a half, which will help them bring down their gap, especially because I'm slow on the straight. So I'm probably aiming for P2 here realistically, but I still think we can win this if I just keep the pace going. It's all about just keeping it clean and consistent, and I think I can do that. That's why I'm not really talking much, I'm just trying to stay focused. Engine wear symbol has come on. Also yellow flag in the second sector. Looks like it's the gearbox that's starting to wear out. Luckily that yellow flag has gone, so I think Sainz went for a spin. But it's not an issue. A safety car now would kill me. It would ruin our entire race. That's what we don't want. A safety car, because that would just neutralise the entire race and we'd be in big trouble then.
Gap to your teammate behind is 14.7 seconds. Okay, they're on old hard tyres. They're 8th. And the time last lap was a 1:13.0.
Okay, so Paul Cher's running in the points as well. He's running on the 13 zeros, which is only about half a second a lap slower than me. So Paul Cher looking pretty solid right now. We could be on for a double points finish. Meanwhile, look at the gap to Leclerc, by the way. About to be 4 seconds. Hamilton, as I say, that passes Tsunoda. Although he's battling with him right now and he loses a chunk of time. And the gap has grown. Look at that, they're still battling. This is perfect. This will at least probably wrap up P2 for us. Battery nearly fully recharged, by the way. We're getting very close. I think we can win this. It's all going to depend how strong Leclerc is at full power in the last 2 laps. But we can win this. I've just got to be careful with track limits. I've been very respectful so far. Car's getting lighter though, so I'm able to take more risk and still be fast. Oh my god, that was so close. I thought I was going to get a penalty there. That was a good lap. Pushing a bit on that one. 12.7 the lap before. 12.3, that's the best we can do about pace wise, I'd say. A mid to low 12. About 4 seconds now. Right, this is the time to strike. My thinking cap is on. Hamilton has dropped Tsunoda and he's on course to catch Leclerc. If they battle, they're going to lose time. So I'm going to start pushing now and using my battery. We're going to have 2 laps where I completely drain it, starting from right now. Doesn't really care about the lap time. I just want to push pretty much on every straight. We're going to start pushing. Look at that gap now to Leclerc. We're going to use the fact that I do have the pace, and also I'm expecting a battle between Hamilton and Leclerc to really pull away. Hamilton's the faster car, so I'm kind of racing Lewis at this point, so we need to pull away because I'm expecting a big push from Lewis, especially if he clears Leclerc. So let's keep using up our battery. Here we go. For the first time, the gap is over 5 seconds. Car feels incredible. Hamilton is about to get stuck in with this battle now, so this is it. This is the crucial phase of the race. There we go. They're side by side pretty much. Now is when we need to push and give everything. Personal best, second sector. I done 11.9 on the last lap. Could be on for a personal best even without DRS. Look at that. 7-second gap. Hamilton has now passed Leclerc though, so he's going to be in hot pursuit until the end of the race. But we've managed to get a bit of a buffer with that little bit of a push. And like I said, that was anticipating that battle between the two of them. Very nicely done through there. This is going to be not a personal best quite, or maybe it might actually be. Yes, it is. There we go. 6.6 seconds, the gap going on to this last lap. 6.7 now. It's going to take a massive lap from Lewis to take this away from us, but I need to be careful. Track limits as well. Not now. I do not want to mess up now, so we'll make sure to take it safe. Yes. Nicely done through that chicane. Hamilton starting to close in, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Keeping it nice and tidy. And finally, we may have got the AI a bit wrong. I should have maybe gone 110, but even still, 2 difference, in digits is not going to make a massive difference. Hamilton's closing, but I don't think it's going to be enough. For the first time after 31 episodes, I can't believe I'm saying it, we're not just going to get our first podium, we're going to get our first win. Hamilton's pushing, but it's not enough. We win. Like, subscribe. History.
Ah, fantastic drive. That's just fantastic. Amazing. You deserve that race win. Well done, mate.
It wasn't always plain sailing today, but it was a very important win nonetheless. Natalie Pinkham, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
Well, I'm thoroughly exhausted after the excitement of that race, but I'm sure it's nothing compared to our drivers here. They've worked hard to make it up there, and it's great to see them make their way onto the podium now.
Finally, a massive break in our favour. And not just that, it's history in the making, because Teo Pourchaire also scores his first Formula 1 points, and it's a double points finish for us as a team. Not just that, if you look at the personal bests, Pourchaire was faster than us actually, so yeah, fair play. He was only 13 seconds adrift. I think 110, of course, would have been perfect for the race, and even then, it's probably a bit too easy. I think 115 would have been perfect for this race, realistically, if we look at car performance. But at the same time, all the big teams underperformed. Ferrari only had 1 car in the points, Red Bull none at all, Mercedes only 1 car in the points. So today was the day for the small teams. If you look at AlphaTauri, 97 Racing, and also Alfa Romeo and Williams as well, all scoring points, Haas as well. It was the day of the underdog, and we succeeded today. In the end, Hamilton finished 5.6 behind, so he gained almost a second in just the second and third sector alone, which is insane. Luckily, we had the gap, we timed it perfectly, and got the job done, and it's 25 of the sweetest points you're ever going to see as we win the Canadian Grand Prix. Hamilton and Leclerc finish in the top 3. Tsunoda P4 for AlphaTauri, by the way. Great drive from him ahead of Mick Schumacher. Pierre Gasly P6 in the second AlphaTauri, so they scored big points in this race. Luckily, we also scored big points because they're behind us in the constructors. Albon P7, and then Magnussen and Alonso round out the top 10 and the point scorers. Perez misses out the points along with Latifi, Verstappen, Norris, Russell, Vettel, Ocon, Ricciardo, Sainz, Aitken, Stroll, Zhou at the back, and some big names at the points. Standings after that race win move us up to P7, which is absolutely bonkers. Insane, man. What a result. As for Pourchaire, with those points, you can see he moves up to P17, overtaking Magnussen and Vettel, who also score points, which is great to see. In the constructors, we're still 7th, but we're only 16 points behind Haas, and we also keep AlphaTauri behind. They did score a big chunk of points, AlphaTauri, but we pull away slightly. The gap is 18 points. Crucially though, a massive gap from now until Alfa Romeo and also Williams and Aston Martin. So P8 looks very, very solid right now and very safe. P7 looks great. P6 could be possible. This might be the turning point, this latest patch. You never know. Paul Chair scoring points as well was a massive bonus. So yeah, guys, history made here at Canada. And I think we're going to leave it there. I'll take care of the upgrades in the next episode. For now though, let's enjoy it. Let's drink it in. Let's soak it in. If you enjoyed that race, leave a like and subscribe for more daily F1 content on my channel, guys. I think that race win deserves it. Let's try and smash over 1,000 likes. And yeah, as always, a massive, massive plug to the members for supporting the content. Finally, check out the 2 videos on screen now if you haven't seen them. And yeah, guys, we've done it. We've won a race. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, take care. And it's goodbye from me.